Hello and welcome to the Tea and Pretzels podcast. Once again, we have a bunch of guests with us. And for the start, can I get each of you to introduce yourselves, starting with you, Green? Who are you, and what the hell do you do on the internet?
I'm a man in green. I have essentially been a part of this whole ordeal about 2 months before Gamergate actually started, digging into various things that were going on that I viewed as corruption in games journalism and the lies that they had been telling about gamers. I primarily dig and verify through information to see how accurate it is or not before I try to spread it around on Twitter and make sure that everything I say is as accurate as possible. I also participate in some various shit postings, some trolling, and various other things. I try to keep a persona of a man in green a certain way. Sometimes my real self comes out in the man in green persona on Twitter, but it's mostly trying to be an act, as it were, of acting a certain way while keeping the factual information that I like to spread from my own word of mouth. Um, yeah, pretty much I'm an ally to Gamergate in full.
Okay, perfect. Peter, who are you, and what the hell do you do on the internet?
Well, I go by the handle an engineer in iCore, and basically I just go around looking for information of interest. Sometimes I find it, sometimes it finds me. And sometimes, it's just like, it may not necessarily be related to Gamergate, but, if it's something that I can find a use for, I'll put it in my little toolbox, as it were.
I now have an image of you running around on Twitter with an actual toolbox full of tweets that interest you. Okay, well, that's our two guests for today. I guess we will start with, well, I guess I'll start with the thing that everyone's been talking about recently. There has been a Gamergate meetup in Washington, D.C. Apparently went very well, went fantastically, other than small little mishap. There was a bomb threat, and someone pulled a fire alarm to try and stop it. Yes. What do you guys think? What do you guys feel?
What a surprise.
It
It's
was.
not like we have. It's not like we haven't heard of people pulling fire alarms before at other particular meetups that they don't feel fond of for other events. Oh wait.
Big Red.
Yes, I was just thinking that myself.
Yes, it was quite something to behold. I don't. Who do you guys think sent the actual the bomb threat? It's just the bomb threat. I'm pretty sure we know it was an anti-Gamergator who pulled the fire alarm. But who do you guys think sent the bomb threat? Do you think it was Gamergate, anti-Gamergate, trolls? Who do you think sent it?
Most likely a third-party troll. If I had to wager, it's just somebody who wants to spend some time in jail because you sent a fucking bomb threat to Washington, D.C.
Yeah, see,
Alright.
that's why I don't think it was a third-party troll. Third-party trolls, they know that kind of shit would really get them in trouble. So I have my money is on a particularly, shall we say, strident supporter of anti-Gamergate. That's my theory.
Oh,
Yuck.
okay.
That would
Uh,
suck.
that would, yeah, it would suck if it was anti-Gamergate. If it was a third-party troll, though, it would kind of prove what we've been saying all along, is a lot of these threats and stuff are coming from third-party trolls.
It would be nice if it was nobody prominent from anti-Gamergate. As much as I despise what they have been saying and lying about us for the last 8 months, I do not want to see them in that kind of situation. Early on in Gamergate, I was more inclined to want to see them be heavily punished for what they've done as far as lying to me, and I might have said differently a few months back. But yeah, I don't want to see them in that much trouble.
Oh, seeing them in that much trouble would be very useful, actually.
It
It would be,
would.
it would be a very good gesture of intimidation if they actually got in jail for this kind of stuff.
It would be useful. It's just I'm
whatever
really
this was, it was an act on emotion. Nobody who cold-mindedly does that that way. Unless, of
right.
course, the call was made from a no, even that would be careless. Even from a public telephone would be careless. You know
I-
what I
I'd
mean? A
like to
phone
think
box.
that if somebody did do it, it would be from, like say, what they call an asterisk box. It's basically an IP phone. You can set up one of these things pretty much anywhere. Route the call to God only knows how many servers around the world, and then have it interface with the public telephone system. If you were smart about it, that's what you do. But I have a sneaking suspicion that whoever did this wasn't that smart.
Hmm. Who knows? We have been
Someone
dealing
with the
with
financial resources to do this, and the resolve to do it that way, would have figured that it wouldn't have much of an effect.
Hmm. And
So no,
I
it must
just
have been an act of emotion. Someone did this genuinely thinking that it is for a good cause and that they're doing the right thing.
Mm. I'd like to point out as well, and this is an argument I've been seeing quite a bit from anti-gamergaters about this, and it's just something I want to point out to any anti-gamergaters that maybe, possibly, probably not happen to be watching. Um, an argument I often see coming up is, well, the threat probably came from inside Gamergate, and it was a Gamergate supporter trying to rally up sympathy for the cause, so they did this to, spin the victim narrative. And I'd just like to point out, almost immediately after this bomb threat happened, we started making jokes about it. If we were trying to enforce a victim narrative, would we be doing that?
Hell
I don't
no.
think so. I,
No,
yeah, I don't think so.
that's them just taking that's them just taking our arguments and trying to use them themselves and
Mm.
not really understanding how these kinds of things work.
Yes, if we were so concerned about being victims, we would have said, oh, we are such victims. But no, we were actually taking words they've been using for months on us and spinning them back around on them to point out the ridiculousness of their arguments for the most part from what I've seen. Though, let's face it, Arthur Chu probably should not have been tweeting what he was tweeting earlier in the day like he was.
No. Him tweeting out that was very, 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 very stupid. Very dumb.
What particularly are you referring to?
He tweeted out. Let me see if I can find the actual. Does anyone have the actual quote? Because it was.
It ends tonight.
Yeah, it ends tonight. He was basically saying that Gamergate was going to end tonight with this meetup, and it was very threatening sounding, and a
Oh,
lot of people. Yeah, it was
contact the
very
FBI.
much.
This is going to be good.
Yeah,
That's
it,
the
it
thing.
was it was a very veiled sounding threat, and we're like, wait, what? Almost immediately after it was tweeted out by Arthur Chu, people were saying, wait, what the hell are you talking about, man? What the hell are you saying? Elaborate. What the hell did you just say? Is essentially the first things that Gamergate supporters were asking was, what are you saying? Because that's
Find out where he lives. Contact the police because this sounds very he makes if he writes it that way, so convinced that it will end tonight, and then a bomb threat happens.
Hmm.
right.
I don't think it was Chew. I don't think Chew's that stupid. At least I hope Chew's
Maybe
not
Chu
that
knows
stupid
someone
for
who
his
did
own
it.
sake.
Either way, it would be a good idea if the police paid him a little visit.
Yeah, no,
That's
I
exactly
think
what I was
Best if
thinking.
armed.
Yeah.
definitely should be looked into. And even though I don't think it's him, hell, let's make out. Let's find out for sure. I mean,
Yeah.
Even
I'm
I mean,
all.
conspiracy to multiple murder is still a crime. Even
yeah.
just
Mm,
conspiracy.
He
yeah.
he tried to say that he was talking about. He said later that he meant that this whole stupid conversation would end later tonight. It's like that doesn't even make any sense. Why would the conversation end later tonight unless you're deleting your Twitter account or whatever thing? Because the conversation clearly isn't going to end. The conversation is going to continue going on. What's
Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't buy that logic either. It's It's crap.
I
It's
meant that the
100% crap.
conversation was going to end. The stupid conversation was going to end. No, no, unless you're deleting your Twitter account, the stupid conversation is not going to end. You
No, what I mean
pretty.
is, unless he knew that something like that would happen, why would he say that? Unless he knew beforehand.
I'm trying to find the actual quote
It's
here for you
archived. He
guys.
deleted it.
He deleted it?
I think so.
I think a lot of
Uh,
people archived it, though.
Oh, well, yeah, obviously. We archive everything.
Rule 1, archive everything.
Just photocopy and laminate everything. We don't know what's going to happen. We need to be sure.
Archive the tweet from
Uh,
Morbid. It's the only way to be sure.
Archive the archive. It's the only way. Okay, I can't actually find it. I'll keep looking for it, but for now, does anyone have anything else to say about the bomb threat and them pulling the... I think the only other thing I have to say is someone pulled the fire alarm. So that means that someone was there to pull said fire alarm. That wasn't done over the internet. Someone was physically there. So there's a very high chance that possibly someone from Anti-Gamergate's there and possibly going to get caught for this. And
Well,
I
if they
don't...
were smart about it, they would have taken the fire alarm, attached a string to it while wearing a glove, and then pulled it that way to avoid the ink spray. There are ways around that type of thing. I don't know who potentially did it, but it could have been anyone. It could have been a troll trying to get some real life lulz somehow. I doubt it. But there is a very strong possibility that somebody from Anti-Gamergate was there.
Well,
Who
we know
pulled the
people
fire
from
alarm?
Anti-Gamergate were at least saying they were going to be there. I mean, look at Gamergazi before, if just before this, they were saying they were going to go. So we
Right.
already know they were going to go.
Yep.
So yeah, I think that's. Anyone else have anything else to say on the bomb threat? Do you think we're going to see recurrent appearances of things like that in other events, or is this? Do you think it's just going to be like a once-off?
Gamergate meetups are going to continue to happen even more so at this point. Not only are we not terrified of shit like this, it actually seems to encourage us. So I expect us. I probably even shouldn't mention what I was about to mention. Considering this events, I expect a Gamergate meetup in my home area, and I will probably make an appearance as a man in green, like I am now. So. Color Cabal will be representing in my area should one happen.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Lock a ball up in his house.
So yeah, that I think if everyone is done on talking about the bomb threat, we can move on to the second article. The second thing I have here, has everyone here seen the Sargon of Akkad interview with David Pakman?
Yes.
Have you, Peter?
I haven't yet. I have to catch that at some point.
It was a very, very interesting interview. Mozier, did you see it?
Which interview?
Where the interview David Pakman did with Sargon of Akkad.
Oh no, I missed that one. I wasn't involved for the last 2 days. What did the interview entail?
Pretty much it discussed purely Gamergate related things. There was some discussion on what Sargon was calling clickbaity title when it came to David Pakman's first couple of interviews. Pakman tried to defend his title, saying, well, it's supposed to be interesting, yes, but I thought it was accurate. I was interviewing a Gamergate supporter, and he had these particular views. Well, yes, but it still had nothing to do at all with Gamergate. It could have been David Pakman interviews Vox Day, because the interview literally had nothing to do with Gamergate. You could say interviews Gamergate supporter, but the conversation seemed to be something that was supposed to be about Gamergate and strictly wasn't. It was a bit misleading. Whether David Pakman wants to admit it or not, it was misleading.
I would agree with that.
And, it may not be an unethical type of clickbait. I don't think I would agree that it was an unethical clickbait, but it was definitely clickbaity.
Oh yeah, definitely.
It was clickbaity, but the question is clickbaity titles, are they a problem? Are they an ethical issue? I mean, yes, they are irritating, but are they really something we should be um fighting against, maybe? Or should we just sort of not
Here's my
give in to that
thing.
sort of stuff?
I don't think clickbait on its own is innately unethical. I don't think that David Pakman was necessarily unethical with the clickbait title he used. And I don't think anybody was really trying to suggest that anyway, other than what the heck did it have to do with Gamergate? And it could have been him trying to frame Gamergate in a way that made it sound like it was holding anti-gay views and whatever other thing that was being discussed by Vox Day. But overall, I'd say that the title itself, especially in most clickbait articles, are not necessarily unethical. Misleading, yes. Unethical, it depends on what they do with it. Like,
If you
even if it,
deliberately put stuff in the title that's not in the interview, for example.
yeah, that's not necessarily unethical, however. It's entirely misleading and gives somebody the wrong impression going into it and makes them more interested in it than they should be. But I'm not sure it's an unethical thing to do either. I mean, I've been thinking about this over the last few months and thinking, as much as we hate clickbait titles and as much as we hate clickbait and think that it's bull to say, oh yeah, this clickbait makes it unethical, I'm not sure it makes it unethical because the article still has to be written in a certain way.
I would
And
I would say it
I
is
would say
unethical. So
yes.
sorry, yeah, you go first, Mazia.
I'd say absolutely yes, because your Gamergate is something as well. And if he takes a clickbaity title for the sake of smearing Gamergate, then that is definitely unethical.
hmm,
It doesn't matter how the press has been treating Gamergate before. That's like saying, oh, these three criminals treated that person badly. Maybe I should too. It's that doesn't make it right.
was his intent to smear Gamergate though, or was it an unintentional consequence of the nature of the title?
Well, he makes a
Does
title.
it
He makes a
really
title
matter,
that implies
however?
that it's. He makes a title that implies that it's going to be about Gamergate, and then he
Yeah,
asks questions that are more about is that person a homophobe?
right. Yeah, that.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing.
Yeah.
Here's how I see it. When you put a video title up there, for example, this is called the Tea and Pretzels podcast. That has certain connotations. It makes you think, okay, well, it's a podcast, and it's going to be covering Gamergate. Tea and Pretzels podcast is a Gamergate podcast. It's advertised as such. It is advertised in a certain way, and people expect certain content. If I change the title or change the content, I will, in some ways, be falsely advertising. I'll be advertising one thing, providing another, and that's how I sort of see it with the David Pakman title when it comes to like Gamergate and putting the hashtag Gamergate in the Vox Day interview. He advertised it as a Gamergate interview, and then proceeded to not talk about Gamergate. It's false advertisement, which at least here in the UK is illegal. So
I'm pretty
it
sure it's
would
illegal in
be,
the United States too.
yeah, I'm assuming so. I don't know US law that well, so
Best in lieu of this specific topic, I'd recommend putting up the title instead of Tea and Pretzels podcast. Call this episode the Cute Kitties podcast. Hashtag Hamtaro.
Seriously, dude?
Yes.
perfect. It's done. It's done now. It's too late. I've already typed it up.
Speaking of Duck and Yellow, he just tweeted me, and I had to block him.
More trolling going on. In
Yeah,
fact, does anyone have anything else to say on the Saga of a Cat interview? It was a really good interview. If you guys haven't seen it, I'm not going to go too much into it because I do think it's worth watching.
it was solid on every single Gamergate topic, and Sargon at the end actually did a short burst to say, I think that it's really terrible how Aaron Jonji, I'm probably
Joni.
horribly spelling the name, yeah, Joni, um, was essentially emotionally abused by his partner, and people are pretty much taking a shit all over him like he's some sort of villain when he was trying to inform the world of how much of a liar his ex was. And had this been a reverse situation where it was a woman saying this about a man, not one person would blink an eye about it, and nobody's taking a stand for the guy when he was emotionally abused. And Sargon thought that was terrible and wanted to make mention of it. And I thought that was pretty nice of him to do that, especially considering, quite frankly, Aaron is a social justice warrior. He is a self-described social justice warrior. We don't have any particular fondness for his ideology, but we do know he was mistreated.
Mm. And he did help us. Like, he gave us the initial information that we needed.
Really, though, that was an unintentional consequence, not his intent. The existence of Gamergate happened simply because that was just the solid evidence we really needed to have evidence and proof that what we were saying about games journalists for all these years beforehand was actually true. And then the Gamers Are Dead articles came out, and that, yeah.
That's all she wrote.
Mm. But yeah, I do think we should send Aaron Johnny some love, because I just, with all this media blitzkrieg that he's been going under, just from people of his own group, I think he deserves a little bit of a reprieve, given
Yeah,
the fact that he hasn't gone after Gamergate as far as I'm aware, has he?
no, he
No.
hasn't. And actually, he's got a court order against him to speak out anything in regards to the subject. So we don't know what his feelings are about Gamergate one way or the other, period, because he's got a muzzle order essentially that makes him unable to talk about it. He could hate Gamergate's guts, as far as we know.
Possibly, but I mean, I very much doubt he does,
The dude,
considering
the dude deserves our sympathies for sure because
he
he
deserves our
gave.
empathy. We don't know sympathy just yet because we haven't been able to talk to
Yeah,
him.
I suppose that is true, but
He deserves empathy.
Yeah.
he has done nothing wrong by comparison to
No,
what
no, no.
everybody else has done wrong to him. The dude was emotionally abused. The guy was dealing with some serious bad bullshit, and the media
Oh,
took a shit all
hang
over
on a
him.
sec. Bear with me. Screw you, Mozzie. I just saw your tweet.
Oh,
Stay
what
on
did he
topic.
say?
Stay on topic.
What did he say?
Sorry. Continue.
Well, I was done after that.
Sorry. Mozzie just tweeted out that we are the Cute Kittens podcast now.
Well, he is the guy as a kitten, and I've got a cat wandering around here somewhere.
Anyway, yes. Back on topic. Yeah, that was Saga of a Card interview. I'm not going to go too much into it because you guys said you haven't seen it yet, and I don't want to spoil it. I guess we will move on to American McGee, a games dev. I can't actually remember what he made.
He was the
But,
guy behind Alice Madness Returns.
Yep, Alice Madness Returns.
Aha, cool. Well, yeah, that guy recently reposted Milo Yiannopoulos' offer to Feminist Frequency for a debate on Facebook, and due to this, got death threats.
Oh, lovely.
Who
Yeah,
cares?
he got death threats. Well, no, I just think it shows that once again, Gamergate is trying to open a discussion. We're going so far as to say we will pay you 10 grand to have a discussion with us, and they still won't.
Well,
I just
technically,
wanted
we
to...
said we would give 10K to a charity of our choice, And I suppose technically she counts as a charity, so maybe we would be paying her. But
She was gonna pick feminist frequency. I mean, that was
yeah,
the first thing. It was I will donate 10K to feminist frequency or a charity of her choice. So
yeah,
that was sort of the default.
yep. And
Ah,
he said, "Hey, this would be an interesting thing to watch," and was apparently receiving death threats from people. I suppose
mm,
totally Gamergate would be sending death threats to people who were saying, "Hey, he should probably or she should probably do this." When Milo totally got a ton of death threats from Gamergate over it, right? I mean, we were just all over his ass and telling him you were gonna kill you because you offered to
mm.
challenge Anita Sarkeesian to a debate. Yes, that's totally what we did. No, American McGee was threatened by either third-party trolls or anti-social justice warriors.
Did you guys read the threats? Have any of you read the threats that he got?
Yeah, they seem pretty vague. I didn't see anything posting his personal information, but they were definitely hostile.
They were hostile, but I just feel like if it was third party trolls, it would have been a bit more in your face, as it were, a bit more
Right.
blunt. I think this was aggro's. I think this was anti-Gamergate.
Yeah, I
The-
wouldn't be surprised.
that seems to be the theme of this podcast, by the way. Is this shit happened? Was it trolls? Was it anti-Gamergate? Let's have a discussion. That seems to be the theme right now. Um. So yeah, I think it was anti. I think it's very interesting. They're now once again they're openly threatening developers rather than just people in Gamergate. They're actually now threatening devs. What do you guys think about that?
The
Do you
idea
think this is
that
going to
devs are
continue?
getting threatened for speaking out in support of Gamergate. I mean, let's face it, devs who are against Gamergate don't typically receive death threats from us. They will receive death threats in the sense of somebody does it using a account that's been barely made, this or that,
Mm.
and some other bullshit, but it happens on a far rarer occasion. But when somebody posts in support of Gamergate, who was originally not known to be one way or the other, they are flooded with some very hateful things
Oh
almost
yeah.
immediately.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, when I see Gamergate flood somebody who says they're against Gamergate for this reason or that reason, I see some bullshitting, I see some swearing, I see some people being snarky, I see some people being saying whatever, posting a picture at them, whatever. But I don't see too much, really threatening things. I see people saying, well, I'll see me saying, fuck you too, asshole. No offense, but I kind of feel justified at this point after being called a terrorist for 8 freaking months.
I don't blame you. I don't blame you in the least.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
no. Sometimes anger is justified.
Yeah.
It's just sad. I find it. It's just sad. I think that it reached this point where a lot of people in Gamergate, when anyone who claims to be neutral comes out, our instant reaction is suspicion.
yeah.
It's
We've
sad.
uh, we've been we've been treated by people who are supposedly neutral in not so neutral ways, to say the least.
Well, we've been attacked over and over and over again. It's not the best. It's not fun.
Yeah.
I just think it's sad. Yeah, that's all I have on it, really. I think it's a shame. I wish we could have had more discourse at the beginning, and we could have avoided all of this.
Oh, if
But
they
it's not.
if the journalists would just stop lying, this would all be done and over with.
Yeah.
If they would, mention that, hey, this can't all be Gamergate related because people in Gamergate are getting threatened too and getting death threats as well and getting this and that. The discussion would have moved forward a lot quicker because then it's kind of like, well, there's really no point in saying the death threat angle matters too much because if we would just discuss the issues, this would probably just flow over and go away.
Mm. Well, they had a way out. They have a way out. They've had a way out since the start. That's the sad thing. Is all they have to do. All the majority of these companies have to do, especially now that they've enforced ethics policies, is apologize. Is to admit that they were wrong and apologize. And I dare say, majority of Gamergate would just go, "Oh, okay, you apologized. Cool. We won't go after you anymore." That's it. That's all
Too
they have
much
to
money is
do.
on the line. Too much money is on the line. Too many companies have been making money in ways that would devastate them if they came out. And Gamergate
Oh
is,
yeah.
is, is basically the group dedicated
And
to finding that out.
Imagine what would have happened though. Imagine what would have happened if we went to Kotaku at the very beginning and we said, "Hey, Nathan Grayson needs to add disclosure to his article." Imagine what would have happened if Kotaku just went, "Oh yeah, sure." All the other shit we would never have found out.
yeah,
Like
Yes, that's
in
that's that's what I
trying to.
constantly wonder. What is this really big thing that Zoe Quinn has going on that they were willing to give up so much, all the stuff, all the losses they've had by now, just for her.
Mm, I mean,
Really? I don't know.
it's something else, and it blows my mind when I think that we could like for a supposed criminal sort of fucking Illuminati shit they got going on over there, where everyone fucking sleeps with each other. They're really dumb. They're really dumb. They could have avoided all of this so easily.
and on a related note, this past week was the SPJ's week of
Yeah,
ethics. You know what I
actually,
saw more often than not? I saw people who have been involved in unethical shit doubling down on the unethical shit during a week that's supposed to be about ethical conduct in journalism. Just
actually, yeah,
what
that's a
are they
fantastic.
thinking?
That's a
Really?
fantastic segue. We were
That
just about.
BuzzFeed
I was just about
article
to
is
bring up
great.
SPJ Ethics Weekly. Yeah.
That BuzzFeed article is great for that representation of
Mm.
SPJ Ethics Week, wasn't
Well,
it?
let's
Oh,
keep it
don't
on
forget the
SPJ
Boston
Ethics Week.
Magazine article.
Yeah,
Don't
yeah.
forget that piece of crap.
Yeah, we'll get into that one
Yeah.
later.
Yeah, let's keep it on the SPJ Ethics Week. For those of you who don't know, the Ethics Week was supposed to be, as far as I'm aware, a week to celebrate ethical and quality journalism. And the tag on Twitter, at least, if you look in it now, is just flooded, absolutely flooded with unethical journalism and people complaining about it. A lot of it coming from Gamergate, which is beautiful. Like,
That was
you
it at
know,
first. What about
A
now?
thing of
Actually,
glory.
it still is. Still is. I just checked it like a couple of minutes ago.
Yeah, the shit posting seems to have stopped for the most part on the SPJ
Yeah.
Ethics Week tag. Um, yeah, full disclosure, I was trolling A Team intentionally, and I fully anticipated having to block and either block or mute all of them at the end of it because I was sick and tired of them fucking up tags that were important to Gamergate. So my goal was to make sure that they didn't touch that tag and went after what they viewed as a juicier target. And for some reason, they have had a hate boner for me for a long time that I can't figure out. It might have been because I was defending the Ralph retort back when they were attacking the Ralph retort because I thought it was bullshit that they were trying to falsely accuse him of crimes. Whether it was an old meme or not, they were doing something that not everybody knew was an old meme or not. I didn't know it was an old meme or an old joke. So, I felt it was wrong to accuse somebody falsely of crimes and try to pin crimes on that person. And I defended Ralph Retort for that. I don't defend everything that Ralph Retort does, but I like the guy, and I don't think he deserves to be particularly lied about like that. And I told the A team to go fuck off and stop doing what they're doing, and they just are giving me so much hate for a while. And I remembered that I had that hate built up from them, and I was like, okay, SPJ Ethics Week, why not? I'll make sure that they target somebody other than the tag.
A noble sacrifice. Yeah,
Well, it didn't
they.
quite end up how I was preferring it.
Yeah.
I'd
we're
like to
building up
be,
to that.
yeah.
We're building up to that. In fact, we may as well go into that now. So, for those of you who are unaware, BuzzFeed recently decided to write an absolutely journalistic masterpiece, an absolutely amazing article confirming what we already knew, that Color Cabal is the enforcement side of Gamergate, who forces ethics upon people who don't need it, are white supremacists and racists, and for once again, as always, the old classic, trying to force women out of gaming. So, yeah, what do you guys think? I have no words.
Well, since I am the supreme commander of the Color Cabal, and apparently
I'll listen to you. Fuck you. You're not my leader.
some other relation to Gamergate. I'm apparently somebody with a lot of clout within Gamergate, with my average of 1 to 2 retweets for any given tweet. I mean, I gotta admit that's impressive compared to some people, but I wouldn't say that that gives me a lot of clout within Gamergate. The best retweet I had was something that ended up with like 60 retweets because I said something pretty snarky.
Hey man, gotta stick with that snark. That's what I do.
Yeah, but yes, apparently I am the enforcement branch leader of Gamergate, the side that'll take out those evil, evil black men that are obviously unethical by default because they're black. Yeah.
Full disclosure, we are being super sarcastic right now.
Oh, yeah.
You don't say.
Yeah,
No.
that was something that I was not expecting in any way, shape, or form, especially since I'm being called the leader of a white supremacist hate group.
Mm.
Well, let me
I
tell you something about people who hate racists. There are groups out there that want to actually kill racists.
For example, the KKK. Go on.
And no, well, people do want to kill the KKK, I'm sure, but they'll target groups that they believe are small enough to get away with the murder. I could be targeted for death now. If anybody somehow gets an idea of who I really am and believes that article, I could be targeted for death. Um, that's the reality. I don't know for sure. There's no way for me to know. There are enough lunatics out in the world that there could be any percentage of them really interested in that. I have no idea. There's no way for me to know. They've essentially made my life a living hell, whether they realize it yet or not. And that's just disgusting. Um, People have essentially put me in a position where I could find myself dead tomorrow just because somebody somehow figured out who I was. And there'd be nothing for me to do to prevent it.
Couldn't you
There is something that you could do. It
Mhm.
wouldn't help you, but it would help others in similar situations. And that's you might not like this, but you should find a way to set things up that if you were to actually become such a target, that you would become a martyr. You know, that people would find out
mm,
that this was in relation to that.
Well, hopefully
you
that doesn't end up being the case, I must say.
hopefully not.
Because
Right,
that
this is pretty fucking dark.
it's dark, but real life is
Oh
dark.
yeah, it's necessary. It's a necessary conversation to have. What I would say is, as far as I'm aware, you live in the UK, not the UK, sorry, the US, right?
Yes.
Okay. Do you guys have laws against what the fuck's the name? Defamation. Basically, when people write bullshit articles about you,
Yes,
they have them in Canada.
it's hard to prove, but the thing is that this essentially made me the leader of a racist hate group. It's demonstrably false. I have been mocking the hell out of anybody who talks to me who's part of the white genocide hashtag by calling them brain dead, lobotomized brain dead lemurs at best. Because,
Yes.
quite frankly, I know lobotomized brain dead lemurs who have a higher intellect on average than the white genocide hashtag, who believes that interracial breeding is going to contribute to the genocide of white people, believes that somehow the blacks, the evil blacks, are being forced into the country to overtake us, totally forced into the country, totally made to immigrate into the U.S. to overtake and destroy the white race. And it's
Hang on a minute. Hang on a minute. Black people, according to these white supremacists, black people are being forced into the country by
yep,
who? The wizards?
by the U.S. government. It's a conspiracy. You see, get as
By the
many black.
U.S. government that is a bunch of white people.
Yes, by getting as many black people in the country as possible to make the entirety of the white people disappear, because they'll be fully interbred and become different colors and hues and whatnot. And apparently, we're also being forced to have sex with these people.
Well, no, I
Because
am, but I'm not complaining about it.
if you don't have sex with these people, obviously you're not diverse enough. So you're being told that you've got to have sex with specific people now as well, and that's apparently another part of their conspiracy. And it's forced appropriation, according to them. And all white people will eventually become extinct. And to which I said, by your logic, then every single race on the entire planet is at risk of that. And they're like, no, no, because we're being forced to accept these people into our culture. I'm like, nobody's forcing them to come into America, and nobody's forcing you to have sex with a black woman, for example. So what the hell is going on? Who's holding a gun to your head and telling you to fuck that person? Really?
That's
I'm
me. I am.
I'm kind of curious.
I have the gun.
I mean, I saw the movie Seven, and I know that he held a gun to that guy's head to make him death fuck that one woman on the bed. But that seems like a bit extreme set of circumstances.
And also, that was a movie.
Yeah.
That's extreme circumstances for a movie. It's not happening in real life.
Yeah.
God.
But
yeah, no, I was bringing that up. Sorry,
Green, based on how you just described those white genocide people, I think you need to issue an apology to the brain-dead lobotomized lemurs. They do not deserve to be compared with those people, not in the least.
Well, I would, but I'm only really aware of one particular brain-dead lobotomized lemur, and he's a good friend of mine, so I think we're cool with that.
Well, to play devil's advocate, the thing is, there are probably, not even probably, guaranteedly, knownly, similar stream undercurrents within social justice. You know that unless whiteness is abolished, oppression can never end.
Yeah, well, yeah, you can't be racist towards white people. You remember that. White people aren't a race.
There is rhetoric going around that is very close to exactly what you and by extension these white genocide people describe.
It's just
And of course, probably there is even news outlets willing to participate in that, and trying to artificially create an incentive, simply in hopes that it would somehow promote diversity.
That is a fair point, that there could be some levels of conspiracy, but in the end of the day, everybody is their own individual and chooses who they end up having.
It's not
sex
conspiracy.
It isn't, but the thing is it's not as extreme as what these people are saying. You're not forced to sleep with a black person. You're not forced to get rid of your white race. It's just suggested to you through multiple means.
Oh,
Mm.
don't get me wrong. To say that you have no choice but to have sex with a black person to promote diversity is something that social justice would potentially try and promote. Say, you can't
Oh yeah.
have sex with a fellow white person because it's terrible. And I agree. That's terrible for somebody to actually say. It is absolutely terrible for somebody to say that you should uh, do this because it's not really it's not so much brainwashing so much as it's trying to guilt shame you into something, which is a terrible thing as well. But at the end of the day, you do have your own choices, and to say that people are going to watch you while you're in your home or in your hotel room or depending on how kinky you are in a public park, uh,
Oh
who,
my.
Well, then no
who,
one is going to hold a gun to your head. But what can happen is that you're going to be called a racist for not having a black wife.
Mm. That
You know,
is
that kind
that
of
is
stuff.
that is true. That does have some extent to it. But that's more of a
I don't see
that's
that happening, and this is why. Because a majority of the SJWs I see on a daily basis are white women. So, if they constantly go on about how if you don't have a black girlfriend then you're racist, well, by their logic, their own boyfriends are racist, as if they're straight, obviously. Just something I thought I'd throw out there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there are
Um,
definitely similar undercurrents
hmm.
among that particular group.
There are definitely undercurrents of white people are racist no matter what, and
Oh no,
well, white people are
I
bad
meant,
no matter
I
what.
meant more specifically, oppression can never end unless white people are ended.
That's what I was sort of bringing up.
there
That white
are
people are bad
people.
no matter what, and we must get rid of them. They are a cancer on the
The
world. That
problem,
that narrative you see quite a bit.
the
There are
problem of
people.
systemic racism can never be solved, and it can never be finally solved unless white people are executed.
There are people who do believe that, and the people who do believe that truly are terrible, terrible people. But
Yes.
let's say all white people were somehow managed to disappear simply because of, well, natural progression of simply interracial breeding that ends up occurring, and mixed people end up getting with other people, and mixed people start getting made and what have you, there's going to be a different kind of supremacy going on because somebody's going to be like, well, I think my skin color is superior. There's going to be no specific amount of number of hued skins out there that somebody is going to say, well, I'm the superior thing because
Well,
people
then
want
it'll
to.
just move to hair color. It'll just move to hair color.
Yeah, it's just gonna be on and on and on. Somebody's
Find
going
that
to.
it hasn't already.
No, that's the
Mm.
thing is only we can really see that. But the thing is, you're dealing with people who believe that this one, except for this one particular race, no one has committed slavery. No one has ever committed violence. No one has ever fought any wars. Well, everything bad has always only been brought onto the world by white people. That's what some of them, in dead seriousness, believe.
Yep.
Mm. And whether white people have been dicks a lot of the times, white people have also done some amazing things. Black people have sometimes been dicks, and black people have done amazing things. Turns out everyone is human. We are all the fucking same.
And when
And
it's
as
when
a
it's
Yeah.
It's, actually, I'm more annoyed when it's either, of course most annoyed I am when it's American white people saying that white people are these oppressors, but almost as annoying as that is when it's American blacks specifically.
Well,
Like if you think white people in a predominantly white country are so bad, then go to Somalia. You know.
mm. What I would always say to white people who constantly go on about how horrible, well, anyone who goes on about, oh, white people only oppress people and white people are horrible human beings, I constantly just bring it up. What about the Slavs? I mean, that's where the word slave comes from, was from the Slavic people who were brought over as slaves. They're white. What about the Irish? The Irish were completely under the boot heel of the British Empire for years. They're white.
what a lot of people don't seem to understand about the U.S. as far as slavery goes, and people like to try and hold a gun to the U.S.'s head as much as possible over their slavery issue that lasted so long and was so horrible and such things. The U.S. was actually kind of new to slavery back when slavery first came about, and was also one of the first countries to completely start abolishing slavery. And
It was soon after the UK, as far as I'm aware. So I know the
yeah,
UK was one of was the first to start making moves towards making it illegal.
and what
Um,
people, sorry, go ahead.
I think the US was soon after that.
Right, and what some people don't seem to understand is that actual slavery still goes on today in actually high
Oh yeah.
quantities in
Yeah.
certain countries. And nobody seems too concerned about that. People seem to be concerned about holding a gun to the U.S.'s head and say, look at what slavery you did in the past. You should be feeling horrible for this. What about the slavery
Yeah,
still happening over there? That
that,
doesn't
that
matter.
that is an important thing you bring up, Green. In that slavery does still happen today. We just call it marriage.
I'm talking about a different kind of slavery in that regard, but that's a different form of slavery, another issue.
I think he
Probably,
meant I think he was referring to literal slavery in the Middle East.
yeah,
Well, yeah, that actually is slavery. No, I was just making a
yeah,
wisecrack. But
yeah, I
no, that
know.
is actually slavery. Anyway, we've gone way off topic, but
Yes, a
never
little bit.
mind. That was interesting anyway. Alright, next thing we have on our list is well, I guess we touched on it a little bit, but there was other things in that BuzzFeed article that I found interesting. The fact that I believe they were talking about the Baltimore riots in the article as well as the Color Cabal, obviously.
Yes, apparently I was also the constructor of the Baltimore riots hashtag to Baltimore lootings hashtag to
Baltimore Loot Crew.
yes, Baltimore loot crew to make. I can't even keep track of the own hashtags I apparently created. I'm telling you. But apparently the Baltimore loot crew hashtag was created to make blacks look really bad by using old pictures to portray them in a negative light, and the color cabal so had a hand in this that yeah.
It's that is tinfoil hat level conspiracy bullshit. I'm sorry, there's no other way to say it. Tinfoil hat level conspiracy bullshit.
Well, considering nobody on the color cabal actually used that hashtag for those purposes,
I never
um,
used the hashtag till
yeah,
after I saw that. I had no idea.
considering
I
that
never knew it existed.
Mm.
people don't seem to
I knew
understand
it
that
existed.
the official color cabal members actually do have a pixelated avatar as their avatar of a 8-bit appearance, with the exception of Gwen Lily Knight.
Yeah. Well, Gwendolyn and I she's sort of tertiary member of Color Cabal, I feel.
Well, she is a member of Color Cabal in the sense that she's far involved with a lot of what the Color Cabal does, and that's
Mm.
spreading kind of the kindness idea, the idea that Gamergate should be about these particular things that we've come to kind of an agreement on, and we focus on having fun as opposed to other things. Now, I'm probably the most vitriolic member of the Color Cabal. That's just a plain given, and I'm not going to deny that. I am the most vitriolic member of the Color Cabal. People are going to look at me and think I'm a dick quite regularly on Twitter. Some people are going to call me a dick. Some people are going to say, hey, don't do this, don't do that. And you know what? I'm fully expecting that. I am being vitriolic because I do have a bit of anger in me over this issue. And I'm also trying to perform a persona type character overall. Now, sometimes I go over the edge and it goes into who I really am, and I'm actually pissed about something, and I say things that I don't intend to say, and it goes beyond the persona. That's simply from anger.
Yeah.
And quite frankly, with how often that we've been being attacked and lied about, and the lies have been very constant, I will sometimes get more vitriolic than others on Twitter. I'm sorry, guys. I am human. It's gonna happen. I try to be as good as I can on it because I don't want to make people feel put off, but I also have a lot of pent up rage from all this because of what ended up happening to everybody that's been shit on like they have been. This bomb threat that was called in DC, that pisses me off. It doesn't piss me off to go on a Twitter rampage about it, but it pisses me off in the sense that it's another thing to add on to the powder keg that's inside of me. And every now and then, the powder keg goes off. It's just going to happen.
Yeah.
Well, it's natural. It's human for every now and again for you to lose your steam. But yeah, I think that's everything with regards to the BuzzFeed. Oh yeah, for those of you who don't know, the reason A Team even tangentially linked to BuzzFeed is the fact that the BuzzFeed the writer whose name I cannot remember interviewed two members of the A Team, and those were her only two sources for said article, claiming that Color Cabal were a bunch of basically racist assholes. Yeah. Moving on from that, we have. Oh yes, there was another David Pacman interview, and this was a little bit further ago. This was with Alison Tiemann of the Honey Badger Brigade. Have any of you guys seen that?
Yes.
I
Yes.
haven't yet, but I have heard reports of bits and pieces of it.
I haven't seen it either, and I need to sit down and watch it because I do like Alison Tiemann. She is a wonderful human being.
I don't think I
But
was able to. No, I wasn't able to see it. No.
and yeah, same here. I need to watch it. All right, Peter, you're our resident expert. What happened?
Okay, we're talking about with the Honey Badger Brigade at Calgary Expo.
Yes.
Okay, as I understand it, and this is based on the reports I've read. They had a booth at the Calgary Expo. They were using it to promote Honey Badger Radio, which is their podcast. They were using it to promote Alison Tierman's webcomic Xenospora, and apparently they also had a banner up with the Gamergate logo on it, superimposed over a flag being held by one member of a bunch of stylized, honey
We've
badgers.
covered
Yeah,
we've covered all
the
that before.
Yeah.
we've covered the events at the
Just
Calgary
about the
Expo.
interview.
Yeah.
What was
I
discussed?
actually haven't seen the interview yet. I've seen bits and pieces of it, but not the entire thing. So, but
Okay.
I've heard that it wasn't entirely focused on the events of Calgary Expo. Gonna have to double check that and verify.
Yes. So if we get that verified, that would be wonderful.
Actually,
Um,
of all the recent recent interviews of David Pacman, that's this is the most on topic one, the most that stayed on, spend the most time staying on what they were about.
Yeah. Yeah.
The one with Sargon of Akkad. Yeah, I noticed with the one with Sargon of Akkad, he tried to bring it off topic, and Sargon basically verbally smacked him for that at one point, which made me smile. But yeah, it was a good interview, and I'd recommend anyone who hasn't seen it to definitely watch it because it was very interesting. All right, well, I guess next up, because if no one's seen the Alison team and stuff, then I'm not going to bother going over it.
It's hard for us to really comment on it without having seen it ourselves.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
You should have given us homework, man. What the hell?
I like to spring things on you. I like to catch you unawares, get your true feelings before you can come up with some sort of premeditated answer. I guess we can talk about the Honey Badger Brigade, the fund that was basically right now being put together for the legal fund against Calgary Expo. Apparently that's at 21 grand out of 30. Very impressive.
Yeah.
What do you guys think what do you guys think is going to come out of this court case? Do you think we're going to win? Do you think we're going to lose? What do you think is going to happen?
At the very least, there will be noise.
Definitely.
I'm
Definitely.
going to guess that they're going to be refunded their $10,000 and some more, and I'm going to be willing to bet that the court costs in the end also end up being covered by the Calgary Expo.
Here's an interesting question for you guys. Do you think that Calgary Expo are going to take this to court, or do you think they're going to settle this outside of court?
If they were saying they'd settle it outside of court,
I don't think they're sane.
if they're going to say hold on to their pride and be like, no, I believe this is a hate group and I'm going to do this, and I can totally prove in court that they did something so wrong that it warranted what we did. Well, there's that guy who was writing that blog, and that's going to be brought up in the court case, and that'll just not end up well for them. I'm going to have to say it does not look good for them, considering they've done this to people in the past. They've got a history for it, and they have a history for doing it on bullshit reasons. And while you do have a right to kick people out of your private convention, when you force them to pay $10,000 to have something like a booth like that, there's kind of a professional agreement there that they have no evidence to prove that the Honey Badger Brigade did anything wrong, despite what people want to say.
Not to mention, if I remember correctly, 90% of the complaints that Calgary Expo received were from people who weren't even attending the event.
Yep.
I guess I think the tweets that they brought up were really just the excuse afterwards. They were really acting on orders from Mary Sue. So the question is how loyal are they to the Mary Sue? That's the actual question, because if they are too loyal, they will, despite running into a trap by doing so, stay strict and take it to court. And if they're not loyal enough, they will try and settle it outside of court.
Either way, they're in a whole mess of trouble.
Because the Mary Sue can't afford this to be settled out of court, and not if it means that the Calgary Expo has to admit that they did something wrong.
I don't think they'll bring it to court. I'll be very surprised if they decide to bring it to court. Simply because they do not have a case, and they know they don't have a case. And if they don't know they don't have a case, then they're fucking idiots. Yeah. I hope it ends up going to court. I hope they're determined enough, because if it does, then like Mazier brought up earlier, it's going to be loud, it's going to be noisy, and they're not going to hear the end of this.
And they are pretty much entirely screwed if they do.
Oh yeah, completely. Completely and utterly screwed if they decide to do that. Okay, let me just bring back up my topics. Let's see what else we got here. Next up we have Nath. Well, first, does anyone have anything else to talk about when it comes to honey badgers?
No,
I just want to say I hope they win. One way or the other, I hope they win.
No, I
Oh,
don't
they're
need to
gonna win.
hope. I don't need to hope. They are going to win. There's
Yeah.
There is really no question of whether or not they're going to win or not. They're going to win this.
The thing is, the honey badgers have the best lawyer in the world on their side, and that lawyer is the internet. We dig and we find inconsistencies. If there is a way out of it, if there's a way for them to win, the internet will find it. They already have. Like, it wasn't that hard, and that's the end of it, really. They are going to win. There's no challenge.
It just really depends on what the dealings between Calgary Expo and the Mary Sue are going to be. That's what it all comes down to.
And I
Yes.
hope we find out about that in court. I really do.
Well, it will be brought up because the Mary Sue are one of the big reasons they got kicked out. So that's going to be one of the things the honey badgers will bring up, especially considering they're under Canadian law, and what the Mary Sue did is illegal under Canadian law. I nearly said American there. But they will definitely be bringing that up, and that will definitely be a large part of the court case itself. But I'm definitely looking forward to that court case. I'm sitting here, I've got my popcorn ready, I'm raring to go, just waiting for this legal fund to finish up.
I think we're all in that situation, Mike.
Yeah, pretty much. Unless you don't like popcorn, in which case, what the hell are you doing? I pity you. Next up, we have Nathan Grayson. He finally decides to add disclosure to his articles. I think that's quite the gut punch for anti-Gamergate.
Oh, Nathan Grayson, adding disclosure to your articles. Oh, if
Specifically,
only you.
specifically, and this is the best part, he added disclosure stating that he was in a previously romantic relationship with Zoe Quinn.
I was
That's
previously
the
dating. I was previously dating Zoe Quinn, who appears in this video.
Yep,
Why, thank
that's
you,
the beautiful
Nathan
thing.
Grayson.
If only you had done this earlier. That's all.
Only
You
you
could
had
have
just
avoided all of this.
If only
Yeah, but
you had just apologized.
apparently she was too valuable to take that step back then. Now Kotaku's beaten to a pulp.
But why though? Like,
Oh, that's the
why
question,
was Zoe
really, isn't
Quinn
it?
worth it? It really is. That's the golden question right there. Because
You know,
as far as I'm aware, they're not romantically involved with each other anymore, are they?
No.
So
I
it's
think
not
they
like
have been for a
No, but the
while.
thing is,
Unless they got
supposedly
some
she's Lifshitz' girlfriend, but somehow I have trouble believing that. I don't think she's ever one person's girlfriend.
Mm.
You know, this might sound a little tinfoily, but part of me wonders whether or not Quinn and her associates have dirt on people. The kind of dirt that would completely and utterly ruin them. You know, like
Possibly.
skeletons in the closet and whatnot.
You know, that
Possibly.
honestly wouldn't surprise me. That is a possibility because I can't see how anyone else would diehard defend somebody as some great person who has such a colorful past, even more colorful than my little color cabal.
Cough, cough, hell dump, cough, cough. Continue. I've a real bad cough today.
Yeah, I've got to say that people trying to stand up for somebody who was part of Hell Dump. I mean, people can talk shit about Anonymous all they want. Anonymous has an actual provable track record of doing some really good things. And are individual groups who do individual things and really aren't as bad as they're made out to be. They do some really stupid shit now and then. That's because there are different levels of Anonymous and different groups in Anonymous that do a lot of different things. So people talk shit about Anonymous. Okay, that's just fine. But they've still done a lot of good things. Helldump has nothing good associated with it. Nothing good. There is nothing that was in any of their manifestos that would suggest that they were trying to do any good whatsoever, only trying to harm.
Actually,
Hmm?
on within SA, they do frame Helldump as sort of the place where you dig up information on racists and homophobes and how every target of Helldump is evil in some way.
So they target people they consider evil by being evil towards them.
Mm.
Well, no, they're just yes,
Yeah.
they pick people of whom they were told that they would be racist or something like that, and then they dig up all information on them, all of it. Yes,
Basically,
including where they live and who they are.
Basically, they are the embodiment of that tweet that Movie Bob put out. There are no bad tactics, only bad targets.
I see. So their answer to deal with evil people is to be as potentially evil as possible back towards them. In theory, you can say, well, that sounds noble in the devil's advocate sort of way, but in practice, that sounds too witch hunty. It's one thing to call somebody out on their bullshit. It's another to call somebody out on their bullshit, call their home, call their job, call their family.
Call their friends.
And the
Tell
thing is, the
anyone
thing
who
is,
might
they
remotely be connected with them.
some of them actually celebrate that, and the one thing they celebrate is one thing they celebrate that doesn't happen that often. But when they do, they consider it a victory. Is something called a confirmed kill. And what that is that the person that they target kills themselves.
They celebrate suicides.
Disgusting.
Yeah.
That's the kind of people held up are. That's the kind
Yeah,
of people
that's
who hunt for racists.
Yeah, no. The whole idea of celebrating anyone's suicide, regardless of whether you disagree with them or not, is just disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. And it's
what they
very
are.
rare I get so defensive about something, but it is just absolutely livid behavior. And God,
I've
people who do that deserve, and I don't say this often, people who do that deserve to be taken out into the street and shot in the back of the head. You do not celebrate someone's suicide. It's fucking not okay on so many levels.
The downside for that is when the person is generally a terrible person, do you celebrate the fact that no longer can they spread their hateful ideas, or yeah, that
But if someone's a horrible person, like for example, if someone was a member of the KKK, I would want them to keep talking. I would want them to never stop talking, so that I can then have more examples to point out and go, look how fucking stupid this person is. The
right?
more
But
you
my
silence ideas, the less people can see how stupid they are.
yeah, but my question is when you deal with somebody who is such a truly terrible, horrible person. I mean, for example, supposedly Hitler committed suicide.
Yeah,
Do
and I
you?
would not celebrate his death.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
happy that he's no longer killing people, but I am not okay with him being committing suicide. I say he should do more speeches so I have more explanations, more chances to point out why Hitler's a fucking idiot.
it does put people in kind of a position. Do you be happy that your tormentor is gone, the person who's been murdering all your people and all that other stuff?
Mm. But gone
Uh,
doesn't mean suicide. Gone does not mean suicide. Gone could just mean they've stopped talking. They've changed their mind.
yes, that is
They passed
possible.
away of natural causes, you know?
But in the case of suicide, I mean, what do you say? You're not allowed to be happy that the person who killed, for in this case, what was it, 6 million of your people, and threatened to kill all of you and put you through such torment for all those years. You say, well, you can't be happy about that. I mean, I'm not saying celebrate the fact that, oh yes, it's because they suicided. I'm saying, yeah, it's don't
No,
celebrate the.
the thing is, the mentality behind this is different. The mentality behind this is not celebrating the death itself. It's celebrating having caused it. It's they consider it
There
a
we
war,
go. That's
a
fair
war
enough.
for the greater
Yeah.
cause. And if they actually have a confirmed kill, that means they really fully defeated that person.
I can't. No, I'm against celebrating anyone's suicide under any circumstances. I'm okay if you're celebrating them no longer killing people or them no longer being there, but the actual act of them committing suicide, I'm against that as a thing.
Oh,
Yeah.
I don't blame you.
But yeah,
I'm just
that's
saying
just me.
it's really hard to look at, people that probably would have been celebrating Hitler's death at the time and say, oh, that makes you a horrible person. It's not like they killed
No,
Hitler
they're
per
probably
se.
just celebrating that the war was over. They're probably just celebrating
Yeah,
the war was over and the Nazis are no longer fighting. That I can see. Yay, no more death. Perfect. Cool.
yeah,
But
yeah.
Yeah.
Now the thing is, that's the rationalization that they have behind them. But they've also gone after like 10-year-old kids or that sort of stuff. Telling 10-year-old kids,
Yeah,
is a known example because that's one of their confirmed kills.
yeah, and because they confirm it, we know ourselves that they targeted these people. Like they confirm it for us.
So
That's how
so
proud they are of it.
even among them, there must be some people who actually know that they're not genuinely fighting for a greater cause against racism or something like that.
Mm. Some people in there are genuinely just trolls and vitriolic people who do it under some sort of pseudo guise of being morally superior. It's just fucking idiots.
Yeah.
It's sad, really, and this is why I think we should all just move to Mars, start again. This planet is already fucked. It's too far gone.
Okay, so who wants to start building the colony ship?
I'm already about halfway done.
Are we going to
I
Mars again?
Yeah, I'm going to
Why
Mars.
not?
You in? You in, Green?
You know what? I've seen what's becoming of this planet. I say, why the fuck not?
Yeah, may as well.
I second
Okay.
the motion. All those in favor?
Aye.
So say we all. Okay. So the next thing, I think it's the last actual full article I have. I actually thought this stuff would spread further than it did. Turns out we all agree on majority of these things. The last article I have is the Denver Comic Con declares that wearing Gamergate shirts is equivalent to harassment. And then they
Actually, they
retracted
took
that.
that back by now.
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
they retracted it. Then they
I
retracted it
think
afterwards.
basically what they were trying to say was that if anyone starts shit, be it pro Gamergate or anti, they're getting kicked out and their membership to the convention is being revoked.
Oh no, they've made it perfectly clear what whose side they're on.
Yeah, they're anti. They're completely anti. They're not pro at all. They're not trying to stop shit. They're just trying to stop Gamergate.
They wouldn't have antagonized Gamergate the way they did if they were, for a start. And they clearly said that if wearing that shirt gets people to start shit with them, then they will see it as harassment. And their rule set actually supports that. It's very loose. It's very loose in its definitions.
Deliberately so.
They can actually. I think they can even kick you out over looking at someone.
Yep.
What?
They can. They can. Yep. It's their terms and conditions are so vague that you can pretty much label anything as harassment.
Stair rape,
Pretty much fart rape. That's the next thing.
coffee rape, coffee gate,
Don't make me elevator you.
hot coffee.
I'm surprised
Oh.
that Ian Coffee isn't present. He'd probably love this conversation.
Oh yeah, no, he's probably listening right now. The only thing I'm missing, actually, I forgot to put this on the topics list, and I just remembered it now. Of course, how could I forget to put it on the topics list? Recently, Brianna Wu did a Gamergate talk, and the Ralph Retort took a picture of her, and then got kicked out.
Yes,
I forgot to
yeah.
put that on the topics list. That happened this week.
That is a good thing to put out there. This has been a busy week, hasn't it?
Oh yeah. Oh wait. I'm sorry. Woozle News. This is now Woozle News. We are talking about Brianna Wu. Just so you guys know. Forgot to actually put
going
that
back to the
disclaimer in.
Denver Comic Con thing for just a moment.
Oh yeah, sure.
One idea that I had, I posted it on Twitter a while back. Instead of going out with like a shirt in green and purple, or doing like Vivian James cosplay at a convention, get together with a bunch of people, raise some funds, get a small design made up, and instead of loudly proclaiming you're a Gamergate supporter, go to these conventions with like a tiny little lapel pin with the Gamergate logo on it. If someone complains about that, then you know they're actively looking for Gamergate supporters and looking to start shit. Because most people they'd overlook a lapel pin because it's so small and generally unobtrusive.
Or go if you can with giant hoop earrings and a plaid shirt, except the plaid shirt is plaid in green and purple. Gamergate.
That's an interesting idea. That's
Gamergate to Sarkeesian, that'd be great.
Hello, something new just came up.
Oh yeah. Oh,
Mark
breaking news.
Kern tweeted out here, Kotaku Polygon, VG247, threats leveled at GG Indices, summons police, clears venue, report the story, hashtag.
Wait. Can you link me to that tweet? Oh wait, no. Here. I see it now.
Where?
Hang on a sec. I will send you a link to said tweet. I'll also chuck it into the messages on the YouTube comments so other people can have a look at it as well.
Ooh.
Yeah. Oh, breaking news! Breaking news for the first time ever.
Ooh.
Oh, there are comments. There are comments awaiting my approval. Apparently, we're being spammed. It's Ian. It's Ian again, probably.
Ian, you
Is it?
crazy pig.
It is Ian. I knew it.
I'm guessing Ian has a habit of doing this.
Yeah, whenever he watches the Tea and Pretzels, he's just like he tweets a lot, and a lot of his shit gets marked as spam. So I need to go in and accept it before it shows up. It's fine.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, Ian, you're a crazy, crazy pig. You're a crazy piggy.
Oink oink. So yeah, I apparently we're waiting on Kotaku Polygon or VG247 to report on the bomb threat. They have yet to report on it. Do you guys think they will report on it?
If they
I'd like
don't,
to think
it's
they
going
would,
to be
but I doubt they will.
it's going to be bad for their narrative to not report on it. They're essentially in between a rock and a hard place. Any place that's reported the bomb threats for Anita Sarkeesian that were disproven by police and whatnot, and said, "Oh, it's such a threat." Here's the thing: Gamergate's reaction to it, the people there, was to, "All right, let's keep going."
Yeah, roll eyes, crack jokes, keep on keeping on.
The police told us that the bomb threat was not a legitimate threat. Okay, let's go back in and drink.
Yep.
That's what Gamergate did.
Yep.
The police are telling you the bomb threat is not a legitimate threat. What do? Yeah, let's go back in and drink some more. Oh, that sounds good.
It's
I'm down for
so
that.
it's so similar to what Anita Sarkeesian. Remember when Anita Sarkeesian got that emailed death threat when she was going to talk at university, and then the police said it wasn't credible, so she did the talk anyway? Wait, no.
No, she canceled. Didn't she?
It was like, wait, no, I'm wrong there. She was
Wait, no.
cancelled like a little bitch.
Yeah, well, what crazy alternate universe have you been living in, Mike?
Why is he asking to VG247? I thought, is David Gallant even still alive?
He is. He still thinks about us when he comes, though, so that's
Oh
something.
God, that is the
Remember, when you
cringiest
search
thing
his
I've
name
ever heard from an anti-Gamergate supporter.
when
That's
you
the
search his
cringiest thing I've
name,
heard, like, full stop.
Cringe.
when you search his name on Google, remember the first thing that comes up for a picture is his ass.
Yep, yep. That's burnt into my retinas. It's never going away. I close my eyes at night and that's what I
Oh
see. I have
God,
night terrors.
right.
It's horrible. It's horrible.
I've
Oh,
got
man.
to say, for
I'm
a
sorry, I should
guy,
have trusted you.
for a guy that says some really despicable things, he's got a nice shaped ass.
That ass, though.
That ass, man, that ass. That attitude is terrible, and he's a fucking dick. But man, that ass.
I'm sorry. After you say that, I can't be affiliated with you, Green, anymore. I'm sorry.
Too
I'm
late.
walking.
You
I'm
already
walking
know
out.
I am the supreme commander of the Cobra Cabal.
You are Cobra Commander, pretty much.
Cobra!
I'm waiting. I'm still waiting on somebody. Please Photoshop a picture of Cobra Commander with Green's face on it. It would be great.
Well,
Could
listen,
someone
I'll
do
say-
that? Someone do that, please. This needs to be done.
I second the motion.
Yep. All right. Going once, going twice. Sold to the piggy. Well, I don't have anything else. Is there anything that happened to any of you guys? Crazy Gamergate shenanigans you want to talk about?
I keep getting sent random things every now and then.
No, okay. Well, anything there worth talking about?
I don't know. I got
Because
like
I got nothing
90%.
here.
I've got 90% of the people who keep sending me shit that I know is shit from A team trying to get under my skin just blocked because quite frankly I'm done with dealing with those fuckers.
Oh yeah, no.
Well, at
18.
this at this point, what are they even? What do they even want?
They
Oh,
just want to
they just
go
want to
on.
get under my skin. They
You know,
want to
with
kill.
how it can't be fun with how serious they sometimes get.
Yeah, they want me to spill my spaghetti again would be the thing, but the thing is, I was pissed off for different reasons that day. On top of all those other reasons, I am dealing with a lot of stress currently in my life, including the things that go on in Gamergate. And then that BuzzFeed article happened, and I just pretty much went ballistic for a while. I needed some time to chill out, and I still get a little bit angry every now and then when somebody's going to try and say that I'm the leader of a hate group. Because quite frankly, if anybody came up to me and said that they were part of a team and that they were the one who did this or that, and could prove to me that they were this Twitter particular handle user, I'm not sure I would be kind to them. I'm also
Really? Why
curious.
not?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, let's face it, I mean, I'm only human, and coming up to me and, somehow finding out where I live and being able to find me in person would not only offset me, but I'd be like, yeah.
Well, if I can only recommend the same thing I said before. Set things up so that in the worst case, the world finds out that it was due to this.
Yeah,
If something
yeah.
happens to happen, make sure that if something happens to happen, the world finds out that it was over this. Because anyone who does this kind of stuff, this kind of really 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 grim stuff, they are banking on you just disappearing from the internet silently.
Hmm.
Yeah, that was also one of my guesses, is that there are people that are trying to bank on the idea that I'll just disappear from all this. And believe me, I have heavily considered it these last few days. I was talking earlier today with a few people about just completely disappearing off of Twitter, period, just deleting my account and going away. Um, yeah, it's
Set
what
things up. Set things up so that in the worst case scenario, word gets out. That's the best thing.
I will probably do something like that if something.
As well as that, I would say look into legal action. See if you have a case against these guys. Because if these people who are anti-hate movement to the extreme where they will go and kill you, um if they see you actively doing taking part in a court case or at least pursuing a court case that could mean that, well, you're not part of a hate group, they may look favorably towards you. That's also what I would say.
Well, time tells all.
Mm.
Um, I won't go into it in too much detail, but I have contacted the writer of this BuzzFeed article and essentially made my very small list of demands and said, "You're going to fix this," or
Didn't they get the Twitter handle wrong as well, even in the article?
In fact, I
Like,
mentioned
they
that
got
to
your
them. Also, by the way, you hit the wrong person. My Twitter handle is as mentioned above.
there is actually someone out there now, also called a man in green, who is not part of the Coca Ball, who I don't even know if they're involved in Gamergate at all. They already have me blocked.
No, they
Uh,
are in fact using the Gamergate block bot, it seems, from all accounts.
yeah, so it looks, even if they do know what Gamergate is, that they're anti, and they're now being called a part of a racist movement that they had no idea probably existed previously.
He also speaks Japanese, apparently, so he probably
Yeah,
has
you
no
have no
idea
idea
what the
what's
heck
going on.
people are talking about.
That's just
You have no idea
wow.
what's going on. That's the level of journalistic integrity these people have. They won't even shame someone right. They won't even attack someone right. I mean, come on, really?
You didn't even get my right name, guys. Come on.
It's terrible. They're bad at their job.
Ursula.
Need to tell them they need to level up. Basically, they need to level up. They need to talk to Law and Order SVU and find out how to do that, and get that sorted out for themselves. Well, unless anyone else has something to say, I think we're all done. Really, I don't
Yes.
think there's anything else that happened. Does
Okay.
anyone have anything else they want to share? Want to say?
No.
The only thing I can think of is that you mentioned the bomb threat incident in a
Mm.
fairly vague manner. Didn't specify who was targeted by it. One of my friends said, "Let me guess. Sarkeesian was having an event in DC and a Gamergater called in a bomb threat." I told him, "No, actually, completely the opposite. Gamergate was holding a meetup in DC and someone called in a bomb threat on them." His reaction was, "Huh, didn't see that coming."
Yep. Well, we are the hate group. Wait, what? No.
Well, insofar as we have an intense dislike of unethical journalists, I guess you could say that is hate of a form. And
Maybe.
from a certain point of view, but then again, and pardon me while I go full nerd here, but to quote Obi-Wan Kenobi, you'll find that most of the truths we cling to depend greatly on our point of view.
Oh man, you went there. We
Yeah,
now have Star Wars quotes here.
Yeah. Thing is, though,
I
it's true.
I suddenly have the urge to beat you up and steal your lunch money. Oh, this is hard.
Oh no, please don't do that. I don't have much anyway.
Use the force, Luke. Use the force.
Use the force, Luke. I don't have any lube.
I also don't have any body anymore because Darth Vader killed me.
I will use the power of the thumb to guide my proton torpedo towards the target. Luke, use the targeting computer. That's what it's there for.
Did they ever explain how the heck Obi-Wan's body just completely vanished like that?
No, I don't
Okay.
think so.
Well, let's wrap this up real quick because we're getting way off topic. I really want to quickly shout out. I'm hosting an interview tomorrow with an anti who is now pro. So that's going to be an interesting interview. If you want to stick around and listen to that tomorrow, it should be interesting. But that is it for Team Pretzels today. It was a shorter one, but we don't really have that many topics. It's actually been a quiet week where few things happened, but what did happen was big. Alright, so that's it from us. Peter, if people want to hear more of your ramblings, where can they find you on the internet?
Mostly, I mostly hang out on Twitter, and occasionally I'll go visit like 8chan and whatnot, but that's really about it.
Alright. A Man in Green, where can people find you on the internet?
At A_man_in_green_.
Got enough underscores there?
Well, it is the curse of being a X in X.
Yeah, agreed. Anyway, that's it from us. If you want to hear from me and Mozzie, well, go look at the other podcasts. We talk about how to find us there. That is it from us. Goodbye, good night, good day to you.